Pleasant good evening, everyone. My sentiments about Mr. Johnson being financial secretary is that, first and foremost, Mr. Johnson is a contractual worker. That position should have been given to a permanent and pensionable staff. If you look at the Public Service Act, it clearly states that the position, if it's vacant, it should have been advertised internally, so that someone who is qualified can apply for it. If the person cannot be found to take that position and they have to go on the outside, then it would be advertised on the outside. Mr. Johnson is not a civil servant. He is a public officer, yes, but he's not a civil servant. He's not permanent and pensionable. He is on a contract, so Mr. Johnson could never supervise permanent and pensionable staff. Ask any unionist, any trade unionist about a contractual worker. Then I looked at the allowances that Mr. Marlon Johnson is afforded. First and foremost, when they gave him the housing allowance, Mr. Johnson clearly lives here in New Providence. He has a home in New Providence. Why is Mr. Johnson being given rental assistance or housing allowance, I should say? And then the next thing I see is that they gave him some student stipend allowance. If Mr. Johnson is indeed in class, what kind of hours does Mr. Johnson have to spend in office to do his work? Clearly, that needs to be revisited, that student allowance he's getting. And then they claim that the country is in a crisis, financial crisis, and then they say NIB is right now at a standstill with money. So why are they giving Mr. Marlon Johnson these allowances and a raise? And they have put off the civil servants' raises and promotions and all of their money situation until next year. This is what they're doing. Every time they come in, this particular party comes in, and I'm not being political, but I can tell you the difference. Every time they come in, they raid the treasury, empty the treasury out, and right now, if you check a lot of these salaries and then check the people credentials to see if they are qualified for these particular highfalutin salaries, this is where all the monies are going. Contracts are given out and highfalutin salaries. This is why our treasury is empty. So I need for y'all, ask anybody, check it out, and ask half of these people who are collecting these $50,000 salary. Ask them to show you their credentials. Are they academically qualified or even technically qualified? Some of them are not. And Dr. Minister knows better than that. And then they have some people who in those ministries who knows better than that, supposed to be instructing them otherwise.